If at all you don't know anything, you need to know the basics.
It's Oluchukwu Chiadika, your personal finance girl, who is disrupting access to financial knowledge in Nigeria.
Can you become wealthy through saving?
Do you want to take control of your finances, eliminate debt, invest smart and build lasting wealth?
It's part of you being able to understand your finances.
Join this robust conversation as she dismantles all myths around money and wealth.
We're going to talk about something I really love, but I'm also very scared of it. We're going to talk about money, finance, saving, investments. You're going to be hearing some big grammars that will break down for you. You have to stay till the end because we're going to learn how to build wealth, especially women, right? Mompreneurs. You want to know how to create that freedom.
You want to make money.
Freedom.
You have to do the initial investment of time.
Capitalist, imperialist approach to finance.
Okay,
so we want you to be free, so you have money, right? So stay till the end of this episode. Welcome, Oluchukwu. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited when we're talking about money. Anytime we talk about money, I'm like, is there something new I can learn? So like, you like money?
I like money.
I've not heard anybody that said I don't like money.
Well, but not everybody likes to outrightly say they like money.
Yes,
people want to be conservative.
You are so true.
They want to know. Please,
why?
I like money.
I'm not afraid to own that.
Well, funny thing is, I think I've realized from working with so many people over the years is it's just our culture. You want to be humble, you want to be conservative, you don't want to be the one who is outspoken about a particular topic.
Or materialistic.
I was going to get there. I don't want to be the one to be shouting about all of the material things in the world, but we all know, you and I know, that eventually we all like money. We all talk about, in fact, it is one aspect of our lives that is very instrumental because you would not be happy if you don't have money. You can't be happy. You're thinking about bills to pay. You're thinking about all of the things that you need to do, all of the places that you could have gone, all of the food that you should have eaten. So please.
But will money make you happy?
Will money make you happy? Not having money will make you sad.
Okay,
so
that's one fact.
That is number one. But the money itself, I love to tilt to the fact that yes, it makes you happy.
Okay.
So funny thing is, when you have money, when you have everything that you need, if there's still some things lacking in terms of relationships, in terms of family, in terms of the actual thing that ticks for you, because not everybody, it's not the same thing that makes people happy.
Yes.
Some people, they want to be alone, they're happy that way. Some people, they want to be family, they're happy that way. Some people, they put their happiness in other people.
Yeah.
So while money would ensure that you can take care of the person that you want to be, your house can be as comfortable as it should be, so you can be happy inside the house, I would say yes, it does make you happy. But eventually, at the end of the day, it is not the only determining factor. There are other things that also have to play to ensure that maze is complete.
Yes. Okay, so looking at your journey, right, from what you studied, food, then you now entered marketing, then you now landed now in finance. How did you start this journey, or was it just like coincidentally that you found finance, or?
I won't say finance was coincidental.
Okay.
Because I love to tell this story about how the very first business I started was when I was in primary school. I was in primary 4 when I started business.
Really?
Yes.
What were you selling? Finance?
So it was buying and selling, right? Yeah, it was buying and selling. And then services. I'm going to give you, hold on. So when I was in primary school, I think my allowance was around like 10 or 20 naira. Wasn't a lot. So I didn't take food to school regularly. So I'd have to buy snack. But then I noticed that the lollipop in school was like 10 naira for one. And then by the time I would pay transport to school, and then I was going to be left, I wouldn't have enough to have more lollipop. But we had 2 breaks, the short one and the long one. And I'm like, okay, the street after mine had lollipop for 5 naira, the same thing, the same quality. I'm like, let's save the money. And then we can buy more than enough. So you always have lollipop. And then one day I decided to sell. and it got sold out because I wasn't selling 10 naira, which was the same, because what's the difference?
Yes,
They can as well just walk to the butchery and get whatever they want. So I was selling maybe 3 for 20 naira. So this is sweet money, something I bought for how much I'm selling. And then it continued like that. The service I did in school, then people should not come for me. I hope none of my teachers from primary school sees this. So I'll write notes and I'll charge you per page. So I used to write very fast. I had different handwritings. So I'll charge you per page of the notes I would write. So I was making money, like serious money.
Yes.
But did I know what to do with it? I would save and all of that. So my saving culture started from there. How did I come into finance? When I was done with OND, because I did OND and I did BSc.
Yeah.
And while I was in school, I did a lot. I did more. As I grew older, I did more service-based business because I preferred it over having to move items up and down. And then I did, I did a lot of those businesses, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I liked what was happening. I was making money. I didn't have to depend on daddy and mommy because cash was coming in.
Yeah.
And then I went back to the university. Then during COVID, I took a course. Thanks to one of my mentors. He paid for a public speaking course for me. I was like, I think you could do more. Take this particular course. At the end of the course, a 6-week course, they were like, take home assignment, talk about a particular topic for 30 days. So I went live on Facebook for 30 whole days. I did not miss one day.
Oh, wow.
Every single day. So it was in that point of, you've done so many businesses over the years. You've made money. What do you want to talk about? Because the idea was talk about something that you can, even if they wake you up, if you don't get paid, anything you want to. And I'm like, there's so many business consultants, so many people talking about business. I didn't want to do business, and I did personal finance. Why personal finance? I've been helping family and friends over the years. I have made my own mistake over the years. I was building wealth already. And I'm like, nobody talks about this. I could count the number of people who talk about personal finance as at then in Nigeria. I literally knew almost everybody. Like, we're not a lot as when I started. So it was like the perfect topic. And when I had that 30-day session, I'm like, wow, there are a lot of people that are hungry for this. And then I'm like, okay, I kept on doing it on my WhatsApp. I wasn't branded then, on my Facebook here and there, banter, dragging people, just talking about things that will enlighten people here. And then in 2021, I started to brand. I'm like, oh, I became your personal finance girl. And in March, we're going to be 4.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you.
Your journey is so beautiful to hear, inspiring. Everyone's like, oh my God, we can go on that journey as well. But for people listening that have not heard about the personal finance girl, they've not heard about your work, what you say, how you put it out there, and they are just stumbling on this conversation right now, why should they stay till the end? What's the message that you want to communicate?
Okay, so if you're just stumbling, you're just listening for the first time, I just want you to know that by the end of this conversation, you see this thing about, I don't know where my money goes to. I'm making money, I'm working, I'm hustling, and then the money is gone at the end of the day. We're going to be deep diving into these particular things. We're going to talk about, I think we will talk about debt as well, because that's one topic I feel like a lot of people don't like to talk about. They're ashamed when they owe money. They don't want people to know that they're in debt, and they don't know how to come out of it. So you're going to learn about how to manage your money, how to make money. We're going to touch on that, and then how to multiply that money. I think that's one of my favorite parts of it. So you want to stay?
Nice. You already touched on something that is so important, debt, right? Why are we first of all, why are we ashamed if we're in debt? All of Nigeria is in debt now. In
fact, the whole world,
not even Nigeria, the whole world lives from debt, especially America. So,
don't even go there.
Should we even but these are like nations, right? They have multiple sources of, they can change the policy, get tax pay and all this stuff, right? Or just close the eyes and cancel the debt, it's vanished. Well, I can't do that too. So if I owe my bank, I'm owing someone, I have this debt. So how do first of all, should I even be taking a loan? Should I be taking that for personal use?
well, I love that you added for personal
Yeah.
use. I don't think we should be taking loan for personal use. Fine, situations would eventually have to push you there. That is because we don't have enough financial literacy, so you're now forced to. But for personal use, there shouldn't be a reason why you should be taking on debt. So the only reason you should be taking on debt is for projects that you know that at the end of the day, you're going to be getting more in return. So what I'm also going to touch a bit about where you said why people are ashamed about debt. So I want to assume that a few of the listeners will be Nigerians. So I don't know why and who said that debt was a bad thing to us, who preached, who brainwashed us, who imbibed that culture of living, paying up upfront.
Yeah.
But that is where we find ourselves, right? But debt is not a bad thing. It is actually a good thing, because at the end of the day, if you're able to use debt properly, you're going to be getting more value for your money. That is for even as a person, as an individual. Not to talk about businesses, corporations that now use debt to enrich themselves. So they're getting things for the time value of money now, and then eventually, these people, they will make money from it, and they now pay that debt with that same old value. So like they're making multiples from this particular from debt. So for personal use, no. But if it's well calculated, if you understand your finances, if you have all of the things that you need to have in place, such as you having an emergency fund, you having a debt repayment plan, you having you having a source of income or multiple sources of income, and you decide that, oh, I want to invest in my education. And when I'm done with that education, I'm going to take a loan. I'll go to school. When I'm done with school, I'm very sure that this particular course, I'm going to put myself to it. I'm going to get XYZ or the potential.
Life can happen.
That's the thing. Life can happen, right? And that's why I said emergency fund. As I said, source of income. So if you're going to go into school, you obviously would not be able to do your 9 to 5 except you're doing your part-time. But then if you have a source of income, you've been able to grow yourself to have like passive income. You have like a business, a business that earns without you putting yourself in there. You have like courses.
So that means there should be stages. You should look at the stage of your life that because for someone, when we say take a loan to go to school, is that even a good approach? Because like you've never worked before, you finished secondary school, well, who will even give the loan? Let's assume you get the loan. Well, in other parts of the world, people literally take loans to go to university. How do you see that? Because the job market is changing rapidly, so you're not like finishing that university and expecting to get a job.
Very competitive. So that's why I said, like, I was using the school as an example, because for you to even be thinking about going to get a loan to go to school, it means that you have a plan to repay it. And like you said, life would always happen. In fact, life even happens to me. Not to talk about people that don't even have any knowledge at all, that don't even have plans, that don't even know what to do next. Okay, let's say you were expecting, or you were working, and then you're supposed to end for 6 months, and then all of a sudden at month 3 the salary ceases or the money ceases. What's going to happen for the next 3 months? You don't even have a backup plan and all of that, or you just even get laid, or you don't have a backup. Like, what are you going to do? So if you do not have the knowledge, there's no need. You shouldn't even be thinking about it. But when you're already equipped, when you've equipped yourself with knowledge, and then you know that, okay, I'm supposed to pay back this loan in like 2 years, and let's say life happens, would I be able to pay back this loan in 4 years? What is the implication for me? What's the payment plan I'm going to use? Do I end up falling back to family and friends? Do I end up getting another type of job, or do I have to upskill and things like that? So it's just like people who go ahead and get a loan to get a car. A car that you're going to use for yourself. You're not thinking about putting out this car on Uber or
so it brings revenue.
So it brings in revenue. You're not thinking about that. You just took a loan for comfort.
And that depreciates.
And it's going to be like, even if you buy the car today, tomorrow you say you want to sell it, they're not going to give you the same value. Nobody's going to give you the same value. So that's the part of, you have to have a very good understanding, right? So there's even the part of there's this thing that's now coming into Nigeria that I'm really grateful for, which is the buy now pay later. So people will just
that, because I see it around the world. Actually,
Really?
I've never really No, I'm not
You've
interested.
not paid
but
it. You've not paid attention to it.
What's that?
So
That's credit. or
yeah,
what?
it's credit. It's credit. So you're pretty much getting whatever you want to buy. It could be a fan, it could be a phone, whatever you want to buy, electronics, whatever you want to buy. At the current value, depending on your arrangement with the company that does it, you might have to pay like interest in a particular percentage. Some of them would give you a time frame where you do not pay any interest. But if you don't meet up with that particular time frame, then you get to pay interest on it. So you're literally getting value for the item right now. It could be a TV. So I want to upgrade my TV. I want to buy a new TV. So I go to this company that does buy now, pay later. I pay a deposit. I collect my TV, and I'm allowed to pay in installment rather. I'm allowed to pay in installment until the end of a period I've agreed with them.
Yeah, isn't this risky? Because right now, this is just the same as taking a loan for personal use. It's now like not just the banks. Now it's just the retailers or the shops that can now directly give you the loan, cutting the third party, the bank away. So this system, it's all over in the West, and people, their credit card, they get into credit card debts, like real bad debt because of this. Because someone that sometimes has to do that has not even, often there's no financial planning before. Yeah, if you have to do that a lot, right? Then how are you now sure that someone that is like not disciplined with finances now goes into that? That's not going to wreck the person totally.
It is that. So I always go back to, if you do not have financial literacy, if you do not have a plan, then there's no need to opt into that. So that's like the easier option that is now coming in, and it sort of now gives people in our locale a taste of how you can get into trouble without knowing you're getting into trouble. Because the funny thing is, when you default, you pile up interest. And then many people do not know that they are piling up interest. I remember a few days ago, I was listening to someone telling a story about how this person decided to take a loan from a loan app and then added an extra zero at the top, at the back. And that story didn't add up completely, because they would ask you, are you sure? And she got the fund, and I was like, oh, no, this was not what I wanted. And then now wanted to return it. But they told you
have a contract.
You read, you accepted, so you have to pay us back
based on that terms.
Based on that term. And she started making a lot of falls on social media. I am like, ma'am.
Hey, keep the money in the bank. Now, the bank.
But you're piling up interest. So that kind of person would want to play smart with that bank, with that product or service or whatever they are, and not know that at that point you're even already trying to ruin your credit score. Credit score works in Nigeria. We have that in Nigeria. Like in my financial fitness challenge where I teach people, I teach people, there's a particular day where the only thing we talk about is credit score. So we learn about all of the things that you need to know before even carrying yourself and go and say, I want to go and borrow money. I want to go and use buy now, pay later. I want to go and get a credit. Because if you do not know the implication of what you're doing, eventually you might want to do an application. They're like, oh, well, sorry, you do not meet the criteria. You've been the one who have unintentionally sabotaged.
We're going to come back to credit score, because I find that very interesting. Because now, listening to you, I'm hearing two different things like dragging themselves, like financial literacy and discipline. The fact that I'm financially literate and I know does not guarantee my discipline. So the fact that I know the implications of taking that loan, not paying back on time, it does not mean that I'm not going to squander the money that comes in. So are these really two distinct, separate things? One. And number two is, when should we start learning about finance? Should we wait until we're like we've left school totally, actually, right? When should we start learning about finance and discipline and literacy?
So if you leave it up to me, I'm glad that the government has started putting in a bit of work in there. You should start from primary school.
Okay.
Like
when you're selling sweets.
You got me. But yes, very important. You're supposed to start from primary school, because I remember every time I have a session or I have a webinar, and I'll be like, oh, did you learn this? And when was the first time you learned about money? Or did anybody literally hold your hand? And half the time, I get like 90% no's and 10% yes. So, and in that my 10% yes, I should be satisfied, right? I'm not still satisfied. I'm like, oh, I go further. Like, what age were you? Where were you? Most of these people do not even get the knowledge until they are going off to college or going off to university. And this you're literally going to start your life to take care of yourself, and that's when you're learning about money. No, you should be learning about it as soon as you're growing up. And this is another thing: a lot of people pick up money mindset, behaviors from watching,
habits,
from how their daddy,
from their parents.
Yes, because I can vividly remember that my daddy used to have a lot of cash at home. And I'm like, okay. And then I remember that my mom had like a what they call those things? This shop where they do typesetting and all of that when we were growing up. So I was very savvy with computer. People didn't know that it was because I would, after school, I would go over and then I have to play with Mavis Bacon and the likes. That's how I learned. So people pick up money behaviors, money mindset from childhood. So it should be invited into the curriculum, because at the end of the day, that math that is going to help them train their brain to be able to face life challenges. They need to now know that when you make this money, this is what you're supposed to do. Or when you get this allowance, this is what you're supposed to do. Because eventually, you don't want to learn from you. You will learn from your mistake.
Maybe that's the best teacher.
But then there's some simple things that you do not have to learn from mistakes. So I advocate for, as soon as possible, primary school, secondary school, let's talk about money. Let's talk about why are we sad when we don't have money? Why do we want other people's money instead of our own alone? How can we control that? Okay, when I make this money, this is what I'm supposed to do. Because funny enough, I've had to work with accountants. Funny thing is, I've worked with someone who runs a loan company who still needs help with financial discipline. She has financial literacy, but she still needs help with financial discipline. So this is not like she doesn't know what to do, but she just needs somebody to ensure that, are you on the right track?
So you're like a coach as well, right?
I've worked with accountants, I've worked with bankers. Like the number of bankers I've worked with to help them get themselves back on track is alarming. So it doesn't even mean that even when you do economics, when you do accounting,
you have the knowledge.
When you have the knowledge, you're going to have it all sorted out. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. Implementing is another thing, and even knowing how to implement is something, because there's the theory, there's the practical. So it's So I really see, if you do not take anything from here, ensure that your children, they're learning about financial literacy. Ensure that as they're growing older, you're teaching them about piggy bank. You're teaching them about what to do when you give them money. When someone gives them, what should they be doing next? So it's very important. So by the time you're growing up, and then there's the temptation and there's the life happening, like we would always say, you're able to navigate more smoothly than being all alone. Because there's another part of money that we don't talk about. Nobody wants to talk about how they're struggling. Nobody wants to talk about the things that are really going on wrong with them. So it's only a few people that I've seen that are very open with, I'm struggling with this thing, I need help. Some people need to even be taught about, okay, when things are going like this, when
is there alarm? When should you actually seek help?
Seek help, like people don't know. And it's, I don't know, like it breaks my heart half of the time, and that is one of the reasons why I eventually started, because I was helping my older ones. I'm talking about people older than me with 15 years, 10 years, to fix things that I could see that they were doing wrong and they didn't know. So like we don't have to wait until it's bad, like there's almost no way to fix it until we call for help.
Is there a situation that is almost like not fixable anymore?
So one very good example is when people go into really bad debt. And
what's a bad debt?
There are two definitions of the bad debt too. So let's do personal finance part. Like when you're in debt, when you don't know how you're going to pay off. So people could run into debt up to millions, and their salaries is like 100K, 200K. they could get like they could have as much
But
as
who
they
gives
could.
you that money?
So most of the time, it's not even a giving part.
Okay.
It is, oh, there was an accident or something like that.
Oh,
Oh, I was
situational.
I was at work, something happened, and then I have to pay off.
Yeah.
Or there's one of your next of kin somewhere who has gone to do what they're not supposed to do,
and
then you're the guarantor. You have to like take that on for yourself, and you have to pay back.
And you're earning 100,000. Let's say you have that of 2-3 million.
Yeah, that's not even that bad, because at the end of the day, you can do like a 5-year repayment plan or a 3-year repayment plan. Or if you're lucky enough, you listen to conversations, then you're able to know that, oh, you can upskill, you can get side hustles, freelancing, and get other jobs, and then use that to clear up the debt as fast as possible, so you do not have so much interest piling up on your name, and then the circle keeps like spiraling.
Yeah.
So for someone that has like 100K in income and has like 3 million in debt, it's something that you could actually have like a very quick repayment plan. You could even have the interest rate negotiated, because you can actually. Funny thing is, most of these loan companies, they listen. You
So
can
you
go
can
to them.
negotiate
Yeah,
the
you can
interest
negotiate
rate,
your
yeah.
interest rate. Like, look, cool. People want your money back. This is what I can afford. I am signing up that this is what I'm going to be paying. I'm not going to be defaulting. And once you guys sign the agreement and you keep to your terms, you get to enjoy the benefit of negotiating.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So
this is so interesting, because I can imagine like there will be people who are like listening to this now and they'll be like, this is too complicated, in the sense of it's going to be so stressy to build wealth, right? Then there are other people like my daughter, that is saving every penny she gets for some plans she has in like 5 years, right? She's not even sure of the plan, saving everything. So then I'm wondering, can you become wealthy through saving?
yes, you can.
What about inflation?
So that's the thing. When you're thinking about when we think about saving, we always just want to butcher it down with there's inflation. Inflation rate is so high. I think I was reading this conversation. I didn't get to the end of it, but our inflation rate has been moving from something from 22 to 33% in Nigeria right now, of which you barely even find any financial institution giving you that amount in interest on saving itself. Like, you don't get up to that.
So you're losing money.
So you're losing money. But this is what we forget to look at, that if you don't save the money, you will spend it. That's number one. If you do not save the money, in another 1 year, you will still not have that money. So if you save the money, what you're doing is you're trying to negotiate or look for the institution. It could be your bank. It could be your it could be a fintech, giving you the best interest rate available at that point in time. So now currently you're going to see anything from 9% to 20% for most institutions, either banks or fintechs or whatever. You're not going to ensure that you're putting your money in the one that matches what your goal is. So you don't want to go and put your money in the bank and they'll tell you, oh yeah, we're going to give you 20%. Yes, it's not 20% you want, but you have to leave that money for 3 years. You don't want that situation. This is just hypothetical, right? Or I saw was it on Twitter or something like that? It's a particular fintech whereby you lock up the money for a year and you're getting over 20%. But you're forgetting the clause that you're going to get access to that money for the next 1 year. Do you need the money in less than a year? That is another thing to look at. So saving is actually a way to build wealth. It is not the ultimate. It's not the finite way for you to build wealth, but it is a stepping stone, in the sense that investing would definitely be a better option, because investing would give you way more interest, way more opportunities for you to make more money on whatever you have. However, for people just starting out, number one, who do not understand how investing works, or who haven't put themselves down to learning, saving is a beautiful place to start from.
Okay.
And the advantage of saving is, fine, you might not get the 100,000% interest rate, but you're cultivating an habit. An habit that would not be taken away from you, an habit that will take you through life, in the sense that you're able to save money consistently every month for 12 months. So it means that if you start investing, you're not going to fail in contributing your investment quota every single month.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that you want to build wealth and you're skipping saving.
Okay, so that's like the stepping stone.
It's just a stepping stone.
It's like just accumulating the compound.
Helps you to accumulate, and then you get that interest, and then you want to invest in whatever you want to invest. You have something
to start with. Yeah.
And then in the part of, let me come back to that inflation, because I get that a lot, where people like, but inflation rate is very high. If you don't even save at all, you're not even getting anything. The value of your money is still going to go downward. So is it better to get 0 or it's better to get 10? Meanwhile, you're chasing 20.
But I'm depriving myself then of what the things I could have used the money to do now. Well, so can I be so? Is there anything like being so stingy to oneself? Have you ever met someone that's really like everything that is excess, they save it?
Well, I have, and it is not the entirely best thing.
Okay, why?
Why? You're the one working for the money. I would always say,
yes,
you are the one working for this money. You have to spend your money. So this is where the financial discipline now comes to play. Because there are people, they are at this other end of the bargain. And they won't give me money. I'm going to squander. It should be next month I'll get my salary. I will squander this money to the end. But then there are a few people who, if you leave them, you see the money they're supposed to eat, they will save it. It's a problem. You have to find a way to have. And that typically would even stem from probably a childhood trauma, something that happened in the past, where they saw someone who had a lot of money, and then the money went away, and they're like, no, it can't happen to me. When I have my own money, I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to be like that person. Meanwhile, you're depriving yourself from the little luxuries of life that make it all worthwhile. So now you now ask me, maybe person listen, like, Oluchukwu, so what are we supposed to do?
Yes.
You're supposed to find a way to find balance. I personally would always say balance is a myth. So what I do preach and advocate for is, you see those things that make you happy. Let's say going to the cinema, it makes you happy. It fills you up. It makes everything in life worth it for you. When you're thinking about your money, when you want to save, when you want to invest, that cinema money must be in your budget. Non-negotiable. Then you see the one that is remaining, keep it. Don't come and tell me that it is traveling to Bali or traveling to what those fine places that have really nice beaches. That is what fills you up. Dead that idea. Throw it away.
I want to tell you that. It's not cinema. I want to go to the Maldives first.
Throw it away.
When I come back, I will save.
Because at that point in time, you apparently cannot afford it.
Yes.
So it means that if the things that you really want are high-end luxury, your income has to match up to high-end luxury.
So the taste.
It has to match up.
Or maybe you open different funds, different savings.
Well, that would still sort of make it it's going to make it a whole lot of a longer journey. So, but what I advocate for is, you see those tiny things. It could even be as far as going to the spa. It couldn't be as little as just getting your budget. Getting your nails done. It makes you happy. Go ahead and do it. Is it that it could be going to the stadium to watch a football match live? Ensure that those tiny things, it fits into your budget. Then you see that remaining chunk of money, you can lock it. But do not deprive yourself of all of the little things in life, because you don't want to grow old and ask yourself like, what did I use my youth for?
It's in the bank.
It's in the bank, but you don't have experiences to show for it. And then it's incomplete. So if I would take myself for an example, you see, as much as I'm spending money, I'll tell you, keep your 20%, 30%, keep this money, but I would always spend as much as I am keeping and as much as I'm earning. Why? I'm building wealth for the future. But then there's now for me to live. I want to have experiences with friends. I want to go out, right? So I know that there are times when I cannot afford everything I want. So I just find out, okay, which of these would make it will make me feel good the most. I take it off on the list. Then I put the remaining chunk into my savings or investment account. And then, of course, you pay bills. You will always pay bills.
Yes,
so it's very important because people forget to splurge. Then you see those people that are at the other end, I talked about that.
Yeah.
You carry yourself, you spend all the money. Please, come to the middle. As you're splurging, as you're enjoying life, as you're going out, clubbing, doing whatever you want to do, giving, please ensure that you are saving. Ensure that you are investing.
Yeah.
Ensure that at the end of the day, there's this thing I always tell people to do whereby I'll say, go and download your bank statement. This is 1 month. From the beginning of the year, probably January, to wherever you're listening to this, download your bank statement and tell me how much has gone into your account and has gone out of your account. And go and match it up to how much you've saved or how much you've invested. You might have an heart attack, but don't say it's me. Just take water, drink water, and then pick yourself up. Because even me, for myself, I was looking for a particular transaction I did for my bank account. I couldn't remember where the transaction was, and then I ended up downloading my bank statement for like 8 months. I screamed. I screamed.
Hey, this is Bold with Joe. We are excited to bring African voices and stories to the forefront. The way you can support us is just to press that like button, subscribe, share, tell your friends about us, and drop your comments so we know what matters to you. You want to know all the beautiful shows I am preparing for you? Go to Bold with Joe. Now, back to the show.
But then what kept me happy or comfortable at the end of the day was like, okay, I know where the money went to now.
Yeah.
But there are many of us who do not know where the money goes to. So that is the point where
why don't we know? Are we afraid to just log in and check?
Because we don't check. A lot of us don't.
Yeah, why don't we check?
Because we're not taught to. We're not told that, it's important for you to measure. A lot of us just know, okay, my salary is X amount. My salary is 300K. We don't know how much we spend on food. We just know that, okay, I'm eating, I'm paying transport, I'm taking care of my family and friends, but we don't know what proportion goes to what.
Yeah.
And when you do not know where your money goes to, you can't manage, because you can't track what you don't know. You can't improve what you can't track.
And there's no idea of then cash flow, because sometimes you need money, sometimes you don't have it. How do you plan all this? And one thing I've noticed, and I'm wondering why, is very often when you tell someone, maybe you give someone money to go do something and you tell them to do a breakdown, right? One kind of non-professional, irritating attitude comes up very often, like there's something in the air, like, oh, you don't trust me. Or someone comes back, you're like, okay, how did you spend the money? Where are the invoices or listed? Yeah, exactly. What is that?
I did it now. I've done the job.
Especially the closer they are to family, the more you get that. Yeah. So why? What is that?
So it stems from different things, if you ask me, because truly many people don't know that you're supposed to track your expenses. Many people don't know.
Okay.
So like they genuinely do not know.
Okay.
They don't know that it's a part, like you're supposed to be able to measure.
Yeah.
Like most of the time when I started, I was perplexed, like, you don't know. But then I saw that it was a reoccurring thing. And I'm like, wow, we really need to ensure that more people know about these things, because then they now want to do the defense mechanism.
Yes.
Well, you sent me on an errand. You don't trust me. Do you think I'm spending your money? Meanwhile, when you sit down, or as people, staff and the likes, when they sit down and literally track, then they see that there are some gaps. They see that, I thought it was X. Meanwhile, it is X plus 1. So I wouldn't say it's a cultural thing. It's an accountability thing.
Yes,
because we don't know how to be accountable. We just believe that, my word is enough. But we also need data.
Yes.
Whatever you're doing, you need data. Whether you like it or not, you need data. Because how exactly do I know that if I want to build this house, I need 10 bags of cement, when I did not track the previous house that I built?
Yes.
But how would I know, this is let's add for inflation, let's add for things that are not included. Many people don't know. In all honesty, before I started like handling a lot of people and talking to a lot of people, like working one-on-one clients, I genuinely was. Sometimes I'll be like, no, I'm upset. Why would this person not know?
Yeah.
Like I was really offended. But then like I met more people, and then there was this part of humanity that was like, wow, truly people
Maybe
do not know.
people
People do
truly
not know how to be accountable. People do not know that you're supposed to account for money spent. People do not know that
because
you're
that's how you
supposed to
can grow.
report. Yes.
Yeah, you can evaluate your actions and how
They
you
don't- they don't
spend
know.
and
In all
yes.
honesty.
Oh my God. So, but this is so important, and that's why such conversations is very important because, especially for women as well, right?
Yeah.
It's important to really tackle face on that money issue and talk about it. And then, this is the part I really loved. When I got to hear about it, I was like, this is the part I really love because Oluchukwu, there is something I read, and I was like, so even you, somebody can scam you. So let us, because this is so big, like quick money, making money scams everywhere. People, look, this is not just Nigeria. Open up social media, you will see different methods. Do this, you make money. Do this 6 figures. You hear 6 figures, 7 figures. I'm like, if it is as easy as this, sure, everybody would have been rich. So what is it? But sometimes you want to try it when you see this, and the way they just arrange the whole team, brand the whole team, approach you feel somehow, and sometimes it might even come from someone you really can trust, like maybe a close friend, a family member, or something. What do you think is the bait there? What do you think, why do we have that urge to go for it?
Okay, so my own story,
Yeah.
right? So I lost what started my investing journey. I think I was like 2015 or 2016.
Yeah.
I lost money to invest in. How? So one of my family, close family, had mentioned, oh, there's this particular company whereby if you put this amount of money, invest with them, they do deliveries, they do XYZ, like they had a chain of businesses that they were running, and then they pay you X amount periodically until you get back your capital and then you get interest on it. But what I did not know was I was also supposed to carry out due diligence. Well, to my gullible self then, I did carry out due diligence because I saw them on social media. When I'm going around town, I would see the business and all of that, and I'm like, well, they seem legit, right?
Yeah.
But what I forgot to do, or what I did not know I was meant to do, was also carry out research in the sense to know that you do not invest in something you do not totally understand.
Okay.
You do not invest in something that does not suit your risk appetite. Then you do not invest money you are not willing to lose.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All of these things, guess what? It was when I was reading The Richest Man in Babylon, I found out that, young lady, you've thrown away your money. Like,
Okay.
I didn't have to wait till when the bad news came before I knew that I had done very, very bad business. Because when I read the book, it was like, Rema. I'm like, I mourned. I didn't cry, but I was heartbroken because I knew that this wasn't going to come back. I think it was like a week later. That was when the whole stories upon stories started piling up until today. This is like almost 10 years now.
Yes.
I'm sure that by the time I go and check my email, there'll be one story that is waiting, yeah? So, in investing, one of the reasons why I would always preach, you have to save first. Because the time when you're saving, when you're expecting probably that you're 10% or 12% from your save, you should immerse yourself in learning.
Okay.
I did not understand the business that I invested in. For you to carry your hard-earned money and give to anybody, you have to understand what you're putting your money into. You need to understand, how does this business make money?
Okay.
Is it a high risk profile? Is it a low risk profile? Is it a medium risk profile? Is it regulated?
Okay.
So just in case, just like then, if the money decided to, or the business decided to close down, like one of our popular banks closed down, they had deposits insured, so people were able to get a bit of their money back. Are they insured? Are they regulated by the regulating body in whatever angle or whatever area they are in? So If I had known all of those things, oh, why would I go ahead and invest my money? Next thing was, I didn't understand my risk profile. I did not know that, I didn't want to lose money. I didn't want to make money, yeah, but I did not want to lose money. And it is absolutely fine for you to be an investor who doesn't want to lose money. All of us are not the same. All fingers definitely are not equal. There's some people who have very high risk profile, and they don't mind gambling. Yeah, they don't mind going into things that are very volatile. High risk, high reward. High risk, low reward. You see people, they're gonna put their head in there. There's even the cryptocurrency part where we all know that this thing is so volatile that we have the potential of making times 1 million of whatever we put in. But then you have the potential of losing all of the money in one day, like from the times 1 million to zero, straight up, right? So I didn't understand my risk profile. I didn't understand that I did not want to lose money at that point in time. So you need to know where you fall into. So there's the medium risk, there's the high risk, there's the low risk. So understand where you fall into, and before you carry money and put into anything, understand the type of investment you're putting your money into that particular vehicle. Is it a high risk profile vehicle? Is it a low risk? Is it a medium risk? So it matches you. So by the time anything is happening, probably there's a government policy that springs up somewhere and affects that particular person. You understand why. And then to the other part, which is like number 3, I did not understand that I was not supposed to invest money that I was not ready to lose. So before you go ahead to go and invest, number 1 thing, I have like a checklist that has like 10 things you have to check out. It's a free checklist for beginners, for investors, right? So you need to know, okay, this is what I want to invest in. Why am I investing? What is my goal? Oh, do I have an emergency fund? And what is an emergency fund? This is you just keeping 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses aside. So if you're someone that spends, let's say in total 100,000 naira every month, you have to have an emergency fund that has times 3, which is like 300,000 or 600,000, put in an account that is very accessible. So you need the money, maximum of 3 business working days, you should have that money in your hand, because you don't know how much of an emergency is going to come. Probably I love to give this story about how there's a particular day the doorknob to the entrance of the house got broken. So we're all stuck outside waiting for the carpenter to come and change the whole knob, like the whole thing. And it was a security door, so it took hours for them to be able to get us in, change the locks, and then give us the new key. That was an emergency. That was money I did not plan to spend, because I left the house, I closed the door. Why did the key break inside? So anything could have happened. So you need to have 3 to 6 months worth in an accessible account. Then you need to also understand your risk appetite, understand the investment vehicle, understand the risk where they fall into, understand whether or not you're going to be there for the long term, understand whether or not you can continuously contribute to investing. All of these are in the checklist.
How do I understand all this? Because I know now that you coach, you have a journal, and you have classes. So we're going to go into your classes. What is like the most frequent, common question people ask you in your class?
How can I make money?
How can I make money?
So if we're going to do how can you make money, how can I invest, how can I make money, we have to start from you as a person. Now, Oluchukwu, you want to make money, what can you do? Do you have skills? Do you have passion? Do you have hobbies that you currently do? Do they have, can any of these things that you have be exchanged for money? Like, so is it valuable enough that somebody somewhere will be willing to give you money to do that thing? So like I started from the beginning, I did service based, I did product based. So is it that you're good at you're good at running errands, you're good at negotiating? So can somebody somewhere pay you money to run errands? So they're just going to give you a commission, you get the item done for them. Oh, are you good at typesetting? Can you transcribe meeting voice notes or whatever they are for somebody? People need the service. So what exactly can you do that can give you money? They're like, oh no, I don't have time, I can't do that. Okay, now you have a 9 to 5. Can you just dedicate probably another month or 3 months to learning, so that you can start building your investment portfolio, whereby at the end of the day, you're going to be earning dividend, you're going to be earning interest, and this thing will be sorting some of your bills as the volume of whatever you invest increases. So how can you make money? We're going to start from you as a person.
Okay.
What do you have to offer? If you don't have anything to offer, probably you should start investing. If you don't have money to invest, please, let's start from the beginning. Go and get a skill that is going to earn you money. It can be anything.
So it's a long game then.
Eventually has to be a long game. Everything that we do is a long-term game. There's no quick money. If it's at that, do you think the government will be working if there's quick money? They will not be doing anything that they're doing, because everything eventually has to add up. Everything eventually has to. In fact, when you even think about investment vehicles like the bonds and fixed income and treasury bills and all of that, it's so that they can make money.
Yeah.
So that they can invest it in, so that they can plant, and when it's time to harvest, there'll be enough to harvest and then even distribute. So
So what are these different investment instruments, products that are out there that you like?
That I like? Why do you want to know what I like?
So we'll have to follow the two-step,
So there's so many. Remember I said that there's low risk, high risk, so let's go in that light, right? So low risk investments, you yourself as a human, as a person, you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in education. You have to invest in skills. Even when you have like your 9 to 5, for you to be considered valuable, they have to see that you're doing more things that you are meant to be doing. So you've gone to take another certification course, and you're implementing it in the job that you do. Guess what? When it's time for appraisers and raiser, you're able to beat yourself like, this is what I've done. You're earning, right? Let's say you investing in yourself, get a high income skill, and you start making money. That is it. Low risk, highest return. See, the lowest risk is investing in yourself. The lowest of the lowest. And guess what's going to give you the best of the best of the best return? Investing in yourself. I'm a living testament. So don't go too far to look for examples, right? So we can now move to actual investment vehicles in the financial market. We can look at mutual funds, right? We can look at fixed income. We can look at your regular high yield savings account. These are things that you can invest in.
And people get to learn what these things are in your class.
Oh yeah, you're definitely going to learn, right? So then we can look at medium risk. So we can look at ETFs. These are exchange traded funds. We can look at index funds. We can look at what's called treasury bills, bond. All of these things will fall under medium risk.
Also international ones?
Yeah, international. You have bonds, euro bonds, and you can even get, so now the beautiful thing about most of these things I'm mentioning, you can get it at the tap of your finger, on your phone. You can get them from even your bank you don't like. Go and look for your account manager. Call the person and ask the person that, what do you have for me? You get mutual funds, you get fixed income, you get bonds. Most banks actually offer. But because we're not asking, because we do not know. We don't even know. Because I can remember there was a time I did a bank tour by myself, for myself. I went to all of the banks I was using just to go and have a chat. Literally, oh, what do you guys have? And I was so amazed as to how much investment vehicles these people offer
in Nigeria.
Even from my bank. I'm not even thinking fintech. I'm not even thinking brokerages. I'm not thinking issuing houses and all of that. I'm talking about the regular traditional banks, right? So we're looking at high risk. We're looking at individual stocks. We're looking at cryptocurrency. We're looking at businesses, like actual buying and selling business, because you're going to make a lot of money. It's a way to invest, but it is high risk because you're the one that will bear whatever losses that
buying and selling business. Oh wow, we're going to do you guys should know that this is just the beginning of this conversation. We are going to have her here every time. Buying and selling business, is that possible in Nigeria? Another episode on Bold with Joe. Okay, so you have all these instruments and you teach people how to or where to start and everything. So what do you think is like the one key thing that you say you have to mindset shift, right? That you say you need to work on your mindset before you can even start, right? Is there anything holding us back that we need to do ourselves before we can start venturing into investing money?
Yeah. So one of the major blockers in terms of mindset I see people have is, I will never have enough. I do not have enough. I'm barely struggling to eat. I'm barely struggling to get by by the day from my salary. I don't have money to save, money to invest. That is a mindset of scarcity. And I'm going to give a very, very vivid example. I remember vividly, I had a friend who had this same mindset, like, oh, the money I'm earning is not enough. The money I have is not going to be enough. And I'm like, it's not the same money I'm seeing. You have more money than me, so you can't tell me that. And then we worked on her finances together, worked on talking her on like, okay, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do. And in another 6 months, this lady has saved way more than what I had. So most of the time, I like to point out that it's not about how much you currently have, it's how you're able to make use of it. And she was able to get herself the latest gadget as at then, but she needed to upgrade her gadget. And I had to call her back and say, Ma'am, did you not tell me that you did not have enough? So most of the time, people think they do not have enough. So, and that is a lie we tell ourselves.
Okay. Is it about setting priorities?
Even before you set priorities, you have to know for yourself that whatever I have, I can make the most of it. And then how do you make the most of it? Now itemizing and then now prioritizing what exactly works. Because if you do not tell yourself that you can make the most of it, you keep on looking at the things that do not matter to you. So most of the time I see a lot of people that will tell me that I'm broke, I don't have enough money. Unfortunately, you're spending on things that you do not care about. You're doing a lot of activities. Oh, my friend told me to come to this. My family said we have to do this. And you really don't care about it. So why are you stressing yourself? Why are you straining yourself? Meanwhile, you can prioritize and say, out of the 4 events I've been invited for, I am going to attend just one. And I'm fine with it.
So learning to say no.
Learning to say no. And then that would also that reflects a lot in our finances. A lot of people don't know. Right? So that's like number one mindset blocker that I always have to break down. And like you have to shift from having that scarcity, I don't to I literally can use what I have right now to get what I want. And then if truly we've gone through the finances and then truly this doesn't add up, it doesn't match up, and we've cut out everything, we've done all of the following the books and the likes, the next simple step is to make more money. Is there anybody in this world that will say that money is too much? Even the richest people in the world are still struggling to be the number one over and over again. So you can't tell me that you have too much money. There's always going to be more. But then there's also that thing I love, which is why people think I'm very rich. Contentment. Contentment. So when you're done your financial literacy, you have financial discipline, you have to be contented. It adds up at the end of the day, because contentment makes it seem as though every single thing that you have is more than enough. And then you're able to now channel your energy into what matters the most to you. So it's very, very important.
How do we learn to be content?
It's a very long journey.
I know.
It's not a one day thing, because then you have to understand yourself. A lot of us still have a long way to go in learning about ourselves, and that also affects our finances as well.
Self-work.
So you also have to be conscious about who you are. Who are you? Because like I gave an example earlier of, there are people who only spend money and there are people who only save money. So someone who only saves money, when they want to work on their finances, they have to learn how to spend. So at some point in my life, I was a girl who only saved money. I didn't spend money. I didn't spend on myself. Up until now, I'm still learning to spend money on myself. But you see, the person who only spends money has to learn how to cut down while still living their best life.
Which one do you think is easier on these two extreme spectrums?
When I say easier, it depends on the goal, because it's not easy to come out from being a saver. It's very difficult.
What are you asking yourself? Why are you? How do you feel like? Is it like you want to spend that thing on yourself and you're like, no, I'm not worth it. I don't need it.
I don't need it. I'll be fine. After all, I didn't have it before now. So why do I need to spend the money? Let's just keep it in the account. We'll get X amount in returns. Don't worry.
Okay.
Meanwhile, you're forgetting that you're the one who worked for the money.
Yeah.
You're not going to be whatever age you are
Yes.
tomorrow. You're growing older, so you're letting go of experiences that you should be accumulating for yourself just for the future that would always be fine.
Yeah.
Because for you to be saving that much, it means that you're going to have a lot in compound interest, especially when you don't get distracted, right? So eventually, your future in the future, you're going to be comfortable, but then you've lost out on time.
And the experiences.
Yes, and all of that. So at the end of the day, you need to understand who you are as a person, and then your relationship with money. So that would now have to, we would then have to now go all the way to the financial mindset, all of the blockers, all of the trauma you've gone through, all of the things that as you were growing up that you have picked up subconsciously, unknowingly, and how it's currently affecting you in the moment.
And how does this affect like a relationship?
Oh, it does affect the relationship. Typically, I've seen over the years that opposite does attract.
Oh, really? So a self-preserving finance young woman will fall for a lavish spending man.
Eventually. So
really,
like I think last month, one of my clients, he got one of my courses for his wife. The wife is the prudent one. He is the spender.
Okay. So like that, maybe that was also part of the spending. So you have to pay for the course, so he's spending.
Well, that was the good part of the spending, because the woman now came and she was like, "Oh, we have to do this, we have to do that," and then he does this, and then he does that. And like, we have to find a balance. So I'm like, oh, good thing that both of you are not the same.
Yeah.
Because then we have balance here. As he's spending, you're calling him back. We're looking at, by the time you show him the spreadsheet, showing him the number regularly, as time goes on, he's going to tone down. He's not going to lose himself. He's not going to stop being the spender. He can never stop being
Should we start adding that on the first date?
Oh, yes, it's very important.
As a criteria to check, okay. Do you six-pack? Check. Clean? Check.
Spending money or keeping money.
Let's check.
Yeah. So it's actually important, because I could remember a relationship that didn't go well was because of they were two opposite ends of the spectrum, and one person could not adjust. And they had to go their separate ways, because she's like, I'm not going to go crazy.
Yes. Coming to credit score. So what is credit score and how can we get the best? And there's another like school of thought that like working towards having a good credit rating is actually just also fueling the capitalist system. Do you get? So what is credit score?
Well, so as simple as it can be is just a measurement to show whether or not when you borrow money today, you're going to pay it back. So it's a system that has been put together by the National Bureau System. What's it called? I can't remember the name. But either ways, what they do is when you borrow money, you automatically open up your credit score account without knowing. So when you pay back that money, as I went due, you are ticked as good. Okay. You have to score that. The score is from 0 to up to 800. So the more you borrow money, the more you meet up with paying back that loan as I went due or as at the period in time. If you don't even pay it back, it reads for you. So your credit score basically just tells the financial institutions, money lenders, whoever needs to know, okay, is this person credit worthy, whether or not you as a person is credit worthy. And you typically would not have a credit score until you take that first loan. So
someone that has never taken a loan doesn't have a credit score.
No, you don't.
And this credit score is shared amongst the institutions, or where is data privacy then in this whole thing?
Well, it is linked to you as a person. So basically, when you want to borrow, they would always do like a background check. So that is one thing that is open to all. The same way you can have multiple banks account, but you have your bank verification number. So from that, it all just adds up to, okay, this is who Oluchukwu is. This is how many times she has borrowed
So
money.
you cannot borrow money from this bank. Then you
And
need to
now
go and
run.
borrow from another bank to pay that one.
They see it.
Let's see.
You see it. So the funny thing about Nigeria is that we have a working system. It's so heartbreaking.
Really?
The more I search, the more I dig, the more I know that we have a working
Like
system.
theoretically, the frameworks are there
Practically, it is there too.
and it's working.
It is working.
Okay.
But the only thing is, it is not open enough to everybody. Like, it doesn't get to everybody.
Doesn't work for everybody.
Yes. So when you check, you're going
Yeah.
to find that, when you need things, when you want to get things, that's when you know.
That there is something.
There's
a system.
there's a system.
Yeah.
So most of the time, we just go with the whole general assumption that it's not working or the country is not working. Fine. It's not working for everybody. People should not drag me.
That's many comments.
But then again, there's a system. There are
Yeah.
systems, and it's when you need it, you find out.
So what do I need to do apart from without wanting to? Because I know now what I'm hearing, you will now tell me to go and get a loan, pay back on time, due time, then to get my credit score rated. Is there any other instrument or practice or something that I can do to improve my credit score if I'm interested? No.
So basically, if you've never taken a loan, you don't have a credit score.
Yeah.
You don't have a credit history. So your credit history is what then builds up over time.
Okay.
And the only reason why you should be hustling to get a credit history is if you know that eventually
You
you
want.
want to get something done, or you have like something in the future that you need it for. But if you genuinely do not need it, there's no need.
There's no need.
There's really no need.
Yeah.
So except you have things in the future that you're working towards, there's no need.
Yeah. So what are like if I was to ask like 3 steps to build wealth or plan my finance, just 3 major things you will say first steps, baby steps too. Baby steps.
Baby steps. Well, number 1, which is not like what you want for number 1, but you have to immerse yourself in learning.
I don't have time.
You have time. Please, don't tell me you don't have time. It's not money. You don't have to make money.
Yes.
You have to do the
So make
initial
the time, yeah.
initial investment of time.
Yeah.
So there are people that already even have like a chunk of inheritance and all of that. You need to have time to go and sit down with that consultant.
And
If
manage
not,
it. Yeah.
they'll take you left or right though. So one thing I usually do, or I usually say to people that come to work with me is, I don't care if you're going to pay me money, you have to know this thing for yourself. So when I'm telling you the left thing to do, you know that I'm taking you in the wrong direction. So if at all you don't know anything, you need to know the basics, and you need to invest that 30 minutes, that 1 hour, that 2 hours to know the basics. Most people don't want to invest that time.
Shortcut.
It's a shortcut, and that's why they'll hear that somebody took all their money away.
So that's number 1. What would be number 2? Okay,
So
I agree now. I'm going to invest time. Yes.
Yeah, so number 2 thing to build wealth would be you have to go heavy on earning more.
So you want me to give my time into educating myself?
Yeah.
And then that time is reduced now from the time I have, but I need more time to earn more money.
Yeah, you need to earn more money.
Okay.
And then you need to take action.
What kind of action?
The management part,
Okay.
the investing part.
Yes.
You need to immerse yourself with action. Because most of the time, I think I was talking to somebody yesterday and I was like, I know too many things. I'm not doing half of the things that I know.
Yes.
Many of us
That's
would
true.
find ourselves in that situation. I have money, I don't know what to invest in. You have to educate yourself. But you don't know the one that you know. Have you bought that mutual fund?
Yes.
Have you bought that stock? Have you bought that ETF? Do you understand how the market works? Have you decided that, I'm going to ensure that at every quarter I'm going to invest X amount? Have you invested the money? So that's the third thing. You need to take action. So apart from learning, apart from earning more, if you want to build real wealth, you need to take action. So you see those investment opportunities when you have the money. Number 3, you need to plunge yourself in there. Is it getting yourself into communities that have the right network, so that you're increasing your your earning potentials, you're increasing your business growth, you're signing those deals, doing those handshakes. You need to take action. Because at the end of the day, if you're not doing anything, you're going to remain in the same space. And that's why I talk about consistency when I was trying to talk about investing, because you can't say you've invested and you invested only 1 million 20 years ago and you left it. How are we going to build wealth?
Okay.
It's not going to work. You need to be consistent. You need to top up as much as you can. You need to ensure that you're growing, even if it is 1 naira per day.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, 365 naira. It is better than 1 naira. So you need to ensure that that tiny drop keeps on entering into that bucket and you keep on growing.
So does your friendship circle actually impact your personal finance?
Oh yes, it does. Oh yes, it does.
Huh.
So depending on the kind of friends that you have, I know this group of friends, they were working at one company before, and they blow my mind every day. Why? I think they are 5, 6, I don't know the exact number, but I've realized how these people have handheld themselves to growth. They're getting better jobs together. They're traveling abroad together. They're growing together. They're doing everything together. And then there are other friendships I've seen, thanks to social media. They're only going heavy on the latest things in town. Fine, I can, thank goodness I'm using social media, even if I know some people. I'm not seeing that growth. I'm not seeing the progression.
Yeah.
I've gotten people that have come to meet me for group session. Oh, we want to have a friends retreat, but like 4 or 5 of us. Can you come and teach us about investing? I never say no to those kind of people, because I'm like, in this our generation, that they're always dragging Gen Z and millennials that you are not doing enough, and their friends that come together and say, oh, we want to grow together, we want to learn how to invest. So yes, it does impact. Some people, they only do the whole partying, going out, traveling, but they forget about personal development and the things that matter to each other.
So if one person now learns about it and the others still want to squander the money and not think about investing or saving, is this a reason that you can say, okay, time to change the friend circle? Or keep dragging people to drag you down?
Because I'm very big on friendship.
Yeah.
I typically am the one who would always wait until they wake up. When they wake up.
Oh.
They know we would then continue. But then I would ensure that, or rather I would always encourage people that, oh, you have friends and you think that they should be doing XYZ, they should be doing better with their finances. Don't stop telling them. Because there was something particular that brought you two together. That friendship started from something. So I have friends for different reasons as a person.
Yes.
I have business friends. The only thing that we talk about, we don't talk about personal life.
Yeah.
It's just business. I have people that the ambitions and dreams I have in this world, they are the people I talk to. I have people that is only for family problems.
We all have different.
I have people that it's only for investment. When it's time where there's something going on, alpha, let's go.
Yeah.
So depending on that sort of relationship, that's why I say we might not just throw them on the way. Depending on the reason why you people are friends, that would determine whether or not you are going to be letting them go. So if you met these people that is only to go out, people came together for.
So maybe that's the reason for it.
Then you should be running away, because there's no, you guys cannot get into alignment if you've not moved past that original reason. So if it's just like, childhood friendship, long-term friendships, then it means that people would have seen different phases of life, and then you can now cajole the person into getting better with their finances. But for the ones you guys came out, there's even a group. That group, I'm only on that group to travel. That's the only reason I'm there. So if you're telling me to come and save money in that group and it's not saving money to travel, there's conflict of interest already. So it will be a disservice to me. So I probably will just be leaving them.
So we're coming to the closing questions. Looking back on your journey from that first investment in 2016. Let us even go back to sweets. in primary school, looking back on all your entrepreneurial and finance journey, is there something that you've learned or unlearned?
Something that I've learned all the way. I feel okay. Consistency. I've learned consistency.
Consistency.
It eventually pays off. But then, when I say consistency, I always like to put a disclaimer: don't go and be consistent in the wrong direction. You're just going to be going in the wrong direction. Yeah. But consistency eventually pays off. I can remember I started again my investing journey with 5,000 naira.
What?
And I think I've already crossed 8 figures.
Oh, this is so important for people to know, because every time we're always thinking like,
it's a lot of money.
You have to wait until you get,
It was just around 5K I started with again.
Yes.
When I started again. And it has crossed 8 figures. 8 figures is a lot.
Yes.
Compared to having to have lost everything before starting building all over again. If I wasn't consistent, I probably would never.
Yeah.
And then it has moved me from landed property number 1 to number 5. Consistency. And it will keep going like that. So I noticed that the more you do in every aspect of your life, you get to learn, and the more you learn, you obviously will not be making the same mistake.
Yeah.
And I think last year, the icing on the cake for me was I got a new mentor, or not like a new, I got a mentor who has now steered me, or rather moved me in. I don't even know how many steps. Like I just found myself from 0 to 100, and I'm like, whoa, I've been missing.
Yeah.
So what I'd done over time was I shadowed people, but not a direct interaction. This is my first time of having like a direct interaction. I'm like, I've been missing out. So I've learned that consistency, and then having someone you can always fall back to for different things that have gone ahead of you makes your journey a whole lot smoother and a whole lot better. And then I'm still learning to unlearn and holding on to things that don't serve you. So it applies to literally every area of our life, if I'm being honest, because there's sometimes we like, oh, I have hope, I have faith. After a while, please just let go. It's not that deep. It's like just count your losses. Let's go. Right? So that's for me. And these are like general life lessons than financial lessons, because the financial lesson I learned was you see that thing that you're running to go and do, you don't understand. Hopefully it doesn't end in tears. Just pray that it doesn't end in tears. Ensure that you do your due diligence, no matter like now, like I do not put my money in anything I do not understand. I do not put my money in anything I cannot trace back. There's no English, there's no who are you. It doesn't matter who you are that you are to me. I will ensure that I do my due diligence, because I had to pay. I had to pay with my wealth. I had to pay with my money. But thank goodness there would have not been YPFG without that lesson. Right? But then again, for finances, you have to ensure that you always do your due diligence. It's non-negotiable.
Is that something you think that we should have talked about that we've not talked about?
Did we talk about? Yeah, we didn't talk about budgeting.
Yes,
we didn't talk about managing money. We did talk about making, keeping.
Yeah,
but we didn't talk about
saving. Yes. Should we budget?
Yes, please. Yes. So it's part of you being able to understand your finances. That is like the most important part of you being able to manage your finances, because I always will say budgeting is telling your money where to go. So if you want your money to go and bring you more money, you invest it. If you want your money to go and give you peace of mind, you save it. If you want your money to pay your bills, to sort out all of the back and forth that happens, the reason why you're working, you budget. Like you literally have to tell your money exactly where you want it to go. And quickly, how do we budget? How do we budget? Yeah. So first things first, you want to understand what comes in. This is income. As a business person, freelancer, salary earner, you want to understand where your money is coming in from. And then next thing is you want to understand where your money goes to. So For many of us who do not track our expenses or who do not take note of every single naira, kobo, cent, pounds, whatever money that we spend, yeah, one thing we forget to do is we forget to highlight is that we have something called our bank statement that we can just easily pull out. So for you to be able to understand what you spend money on, or for you to even know what is important to you, because then there was a time I would say, oh, food was important to me, but no, it was hair I was spending my money on.
Okay.
So you want to check through your bank statement and just literally look through, what have I been spending my money on? Some of us, we work for our landlord. Some of us work for Uber and the buses and whatever commute that we used to work. Some of us, we work for our family members, but you don't know why, because you don't check, you don't track. So that is like the two main ingredients for you to be able to tell your money exactly where you want it to go. Looking through what you've done in the past, and this will now guide you to know that, okay, it's fine. Every day I buy shawarma. That's what's important to me. Is it costing me anything? Do I want to split that money in half and put half into my investment account and continue using the remaining half to buy shawarma? That's absolutely fine. Do I want to check, okay, where exactly am I spending the most money on? Do they have money more than me? Do I want to stop giving them money?
Oluchukwu is telling people not to give you.
Don't tell them it's me, but I'm just saying, just check, right?
Yeah.
So when you're able to track, when you're able to know where the money goes to, by the next month, you do better. I'm not saying that cut out all of the luxuries of life, cut out going to that fancy restaurant, cut out going to eat food out, cut out going to do your nails and all of that. No, I'm not saying cut it out. You can still do all of these things and still have your finances in check. You don't want to wake up one day and realize that you have worked for 10 years. I think that would be the most heartbreaking thing to wake up to and realize that you've worked for 10 years and you're scrapping around to see, what have I spent my money on? What exactly do I want to hold on to? Meanwhile, in these 10 years, you could have kept probably 10% of whatever you've earned, and you can see what it has done for you. So it would not happen in one day. Probably you're someone who has never saved money before, or you've only been saving 10%. You want to increase that to 20. You want to increase that to 30. You want to increase your earning power. Right? So budgeting is you telling your money where to go, knowing your income, knowing what you spend money on, and aligning it to what you want.
And why should we keep a journal?
Oh, very important. It makes your budgeting easier. And then journaling is just another way to connect with yourself. So there are different types of journal. Like the journal the journal I currently have, the personal finance journal, it doesn't just encompass only things around personal finance. So it's a all-encompassing journal in the sense that it has a vision board thing you could use. It has your budgeting template. It has your investment tracker. It has your meal planner. It has a gratitude journal.
Where can we get this journal?
So it's not launched yet. It's launching soon. But there are copies going to be. I'm working with I think Studio Concierge. I'll check. So you can grab physical copies on my seller store, or you can walk into the any of the bookstore I'll be working with.
Is it going to be on Amazon?
I'm still working on that, because I have a couple of friends in the US that have been asking for it, and I wouldn't be doing all of that. So I'm going to just have to find a way to get it across to them. So it's going to be on Amazon soon as well. And then this journal just helps you. Then you have reviews. So like I said, all encompassing. You have quarterly reviews as well. So you have to track your network. There's a network tracker there. There's a quarterly review for you to check what have you been doing, what have you not been doing, what have you been investing in, what have you been saving on, and all of that. So it's important. It's very important. And most importantly, like I like to tilt towards not only finance, the gratitude journal. So I use a gratitude journal, and it was a game changer for me. So there was no way it wasn't going to be in the hard copy journal I was going to be producing, because why not? When you are able to measure the things that you have, it just makes you trying to get more a lot more easier.
And it makes you feel content too.
It breeds contentment.
So if you had, now this is a closing question, and we love this closing question because we've always received so diverse answers that really like spark the light for us. if you had everything, all the resources you needed, you had finance fixed, you don't even have to have a plan sorted, great health, great friends, all the resources, what is it that you'll be doing? What would you be doing?
My answer, I've answered this question recently, and my answer will remain the same. So I'll pack all the old people I can find. Hold
on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I had all of the resources in the world, I'll pick up all the old people above 60, as many of them as are willing to follow me, and I'll take care of them. They don't need to worry about food, they don't need to worry about work, they don't need to worry about anything.
Why?
So
where does this come from?
It breaks my heart every time I see older people working.
Yeah.
Like, it's torture when I see old people working. Because half the time, many of these people are doing it because they have to.
Yeah.
Not because they want to.
Yeah.
So if they are not working, they are not eating. So if I had everything in the whole wide world, I'm definitely taking care of everybody that wants to be taken care of. Fine, these people can still work if they want to work, because it's not good. Yeah, it's not good for them to be idle. But for those that really don't want to, please come to me.
Have a choice. You know, just have the choices. Find what you want to do, not basically because you need to survive.
Yeah.
Out of it. Oh my God! Thank you so much. And this was like very, 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 very informative, interesting. I'm so grateful for all the information that you shared, and just listening to you, I can feel the passion right now. You really want everybody to understand financial literacy, save your money, plan, and all this.
So they can spend the money on me.
The best plans can spend the money on you. Yes. So thank you for staying with us. I know you will not want to miss out, so don't forget to subscribe. Well, if you don't subscribe, this is how subscribing is the first plan for you to build wealth, because you are already holding yourself accountable. It's because we're going to be having Oluchukwu again on this platform. So thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for taking those bold steps, making mistakes, packaging everything into digestible knowledge, right? And I'm so grateful for the work that you do. So thank you for being here with us. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad that I could share.
Yes. Oh.